Hey guys, it's a little dark because I'm doing this in the closet because everyone in the house is sleeping. But I just wanted to take time out to update you guys with my progress and where I am with my withdrawal and kind of just give you guys an update on everything and go from there. So I made a list of all the withdrawal symptoms that I'm having and I'm just going to read them off that I wrote down. Headache, which turns into migraine quite quickly for me because of the brain surgery. Anxiety, panic attacks, which have been more frequent but less of intensity because I'm learning how to deal with them and I'm learning that it's withdrawal. Tension in my muscles a lot, tremors, which I'm having a lot, insomnia and restlessness. Maybe about 3 days a week I'm not sleeping. I'm only sleeping like 4 or 5 hours though. I'm losing my voice. That's from the sore throat. Confusion, which I've had a lot today. Today was a very off day for me. I still feel very detached right now. Irritability, which was today as well. Sweating, that's been every day since I've quit. Dizziness, which was really strong today. The derealization, depersonalization, which has been a lot today as well. And almost every day for that matter, for about the first 2 or 3 hours when I wake up, it's really bad, and as my day progresses, it gets better, but it doesn't completely go away. Numbness and tingling in my hands, really bad. I woke up last night and the night before, and both my hands were entirely numb, so that's one of them. Hypersensitive to light, sound, and physical contact, perceptual changes. That's been a really tough one. The hypersensitive to sound's been really tough. The light's been really tough because grocery shopping and trying to function at all in stores has been really hard. It is getting better though. Involuntary movements. That one's been starting little by little, mostly with my fingers and my right foot. Nausea, which has been there but not as bad. Constipation, which is still there. I've actually gained 2.5 pounds. I've just been eating a lot like crazy actually, which is different for me. Abdominal cramps, agitation, heart palpitations. I actually had a high blood pressure a few days ago. There's a story behind that, so I'll get back to that. Tachycardia, which I had a few days ago as well. Vertigo, which I've been having quite often. My ears pretty much like clog up and they won't pop. I'm very fidgety right now, as you can tell as well. Short-term memory loss or shorter-term memory loss, which has been a rough one to deal with. I've been writing a lot of things down that I normally wouldn't have to write down. Muscle pain, muscle cramps, shooting nerve pain, which has been really bad. Mostly in my arms is the shooting pain. There's quite a bit in my hips too as well. When I had my brain surgery, I had lost the entire left side of my body. My face didn't function, my hand, my arm. I couldn't feel anything on the left side of my torso, my hip, my buttocks, my leg, nothing. I remember getting up from brain surgery and I had to use a walker because I refused to have a catheter anymore. I made them pull it out. So I used a walker to get to the bathroom, and I just remember running into so many different walls with the walker because I couldn't feel anything on the left side of my body. I had no sensation there. So my eye was pretty much useless. It could see, but it wasn't seeing far distance close, and I didn't have any vision. I didn't have any vision around me. I can't think of the word right now. I know it, I just can't think of it. My brain's so fried today. But I could only see straight with my left eye. I could see around with my right eye. I could see, around me with my right eye, but I couldn't see anything with the left. So after the brain surgery, it took me quite a few days to get strength to walk again with my left side. I kept telling myself that my left side's there. It's there. I know it's there. It's there. It's going to be okay. It's going to come back. And it took me a long time to get it back to where it was. That it would work if I told it to work, but if I didn't constantly remind myself that my leg was there and my arm's there and that these things do work, then they would, if I didn't remind myself I wasn't using them, and I would hit my leg a lot on things and bruise it and slam my hand in a lot of doors because I don't feel the pain. I just lost a lot of sensation in my left side. That has gotten a lot worse with Ativan withdrawal. A lot worse. My leg's more numb. It's been a lot harder for me to wear shoes. It's been a lot harder to put socks on it because my toes curl up and get stuck pretty much like this, or they will go like this entirely. So that's frustrating when you're trying to walk and your foot's like this. So increased body heat. I'm not running a fever, but from my chin down is on fire, and then from my chin up, I'm not running a fever. So that's another one. Dirt, taste, and smell, which has been really sucky because I have a history with valley fever, so anything that smells like dirt or tastes like dirt freaks me out really bad. It starts a panic attack or anxiety. Triggers what they call PTSD, but I don't know. Ativan cravings, which has been a really hard one to say no to, but I am 20 days out, and I'm 20 days and 5 hours out. So, well, 6 by now. I'm doing really good. I've had no rescue doses, and I'm actually very proud of myself for that because last week I had a really bad seizure. Really bad. I almost did a video when I was in the hospital trying to recover from it, but my brain was too fried by then. I thought about it, and then I thought, no, I'd wait. So I hadn't had a seizure for 31 days, and I kind of forgot what they felt like. It was nice for a minute. It was a good minute. So I was at the dining room table, and I was having a conversation with one of the people that I live with, and all of a sudden my face started to go numb, which it normally does, so I didn't think anything of it. I have a lot of stress right now because we're not sure what it is yet, but my right breast actually is swelling, and it's swelling and red and itchy. It has all the signs of breast cancer, but they can't find the cancer. So we're not sure if it's breast cancer or if it's a muscle or if it's a nerve or if it's just Ativan withdrawal altogether. We haven't figured it out. I've already gotten a mammogram. I've already done a bunch of blood work, but it's just a matter of checking the lymph nodes, checking the tissue, and making sure that's okay, and then deciding that there's nothing there. So my seizure was increased by stress. I have stress seizures, and they're really bad. So I was sitting at the table, my face started to go numb, and then I had to pee really bad. So I came in the bathroom, and I peed, and then all of a sudden, my lip went numb. Now, only on the left side, and it just kind of fell. And I thought, oh my god, I'm having a stroke. Because I've had one stroke, and that was miserable. And I thought I was having another stroke, and then it dawned on me that I have seizures. So I got dressed real quick, and I went out into the living room, and I said, blah, 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 I think I'm having a stroke. And they picked me up, sat me in the chair, and called paramedics. And the paramedics got here, and I just remember the left side of my body was really weak. And I was trying to tell them that I was in Ativan withdrawal, but I could barely speak because the left side of my mouth wasn't working. So I was talking like this, but my face was a lot tighter. So I was talking like that with a lot tighter face. So it's hard to understand what I was saying. But I was trying to get the basics. Heart transplant, history of cancer, history of brain surgery, history of seizures. So all of a sudden, I just remember we were doing these tests and squeezed my hand, and I could squeeze really tight with my right, but my left wasn't doing it. And then I just saw this big flash aura of a bright light, and it dawned on me, fuck, I'm having a seizure. And then I'm guessing, by the way that my body felt, that I seized at that point, which was later confirmed, but when I came out of the seizure, I was in excruciating pain because I have what they call grand mal or tonic-clonic seizures. Now, my back is entirely fused for me to sit up like this at all times. When I slouch, I literally have to lean forward to slouch. There's 2 rods, 28 screws in there holding me up at all times. So when I seize, my muscles, nerves, everything that involves a seizure goes against that. And I literally start to curl. And it causes a tremendous amount of pain. Tremendous. So I just remember them saying, squeeze my hands, and then between the seizure and them moving me, I woke up on the gurney and I was going out the front door. So I got to the hospital. Now, on the way to the hospital, after the seizure, I had a panic attack. Normal. And this paramedic's fighting with me. We have to give you Ativan. I was like, no, I don't want Ativan. I'm going through benzo withdrawal. I refuse to get another Ativan. Well, if you have a seizure and we can't stop your seizure, what do you want us to give you? I said, okay. If I have a seizure that lasts longer than a minute, you are allowed to give me 0.5 milligram of Ativan or 1 milligram. That's it. That is all. And this paramedic's like, well, protocol says 2 milligrams or nothing at all. I said, okay, well, I'm 90 pounds, so 1 milligram is more than enough to stop a seizure for me and more than enough to knock me out at this point. And I haven't had Ativan in, it was over 2 weeks when this happened. I think it was like 16 days. And he was like, well, either you get 2 milligrams of Ativan or I give you nothing. I said, fine, then nothing. I refuse anything that has to do with a benzo. And he's like, well, if you don't want Ativan, do you want Xanax? I said, what part of anything that has to do with a benzo did you not comprehend? And he's like, okay, well, then you're just going to seize. Fine, then I'm just going to seize. Sorry. So I get to the hospital, and I had a really good nurse, and he's just like, okay, what's going on? I said, look, I had a seizure. It's just kind of routine because it's the first one in a long time. They, brought me in by ambulance because I thought it was a stroke, and they said, well, obviously it was a seizure. You're talking. You're doing a lot better. And then they hooked me up to a machine. Well, not a machine. They hooked me up to the heart monitor, and I was in tachycardia, and my blood pressure was really high. I was like 148 over 111, which is high for me because I'm usually 107 over 68. So that's high for me. And it was from the seizure. So that's where the tachycardia and the high blood pressure came in from withdrawal. And I just told the nurse, I said, look, I'm quitting benzos. I'm not in benzo withdrawal. I'm not cold turkey. And I explained to him how I tapered down my dose and how long it took me to taper. What felt like forever, but tapering's tapering. You have to do it right or you screw up and you have to suffer the consequences, which suck. And the nurse told me, he said, I've treated a lot of patients who did benzo wrong. And he said, unfortunately for you, your pre-existing benzo is seizures. So you're more likely to seize. He said, but you've literally done everything right that I could possibly think you could have done wrong. So that made me feel better. I have not been drinking enough water in withdrawal. I hate water. So I'm trying to drink it. So the doctor came in and he said, well, we're going to scan your head just to make sure and yada, yada, yada. And I said, okay. So they scanned my head. They did my blood work. Everything looks fine. He said, I think your seizure was induced by the stress with your right breast, which could very well be because I was under a lot of stress. But he told me the same thing. He said, a lot of doctors aren't familiar with benzo withdrawal, and a lot of doctors will just give you Ativan and you'll be on your way. He said, I recommend you take Ativan if you can't stop a seizure. He said, if you have a seizure that lasts longer than 30 seconds, you should highly consider taking at least half an Ativan to stop the seizure, and then tell yourself, okay, I'm not going to take an Ativan, for another 30 days or whatever. He said, but you've done everything right that you could have possibly done to set yourself up for success with benzo withdrawal. Said, I would hate to see you take another Ativan, and I would hate if you agreed to the 2 milligrams of Ativan that was protocol, because that's way too much for you and your body size. He said, so did you do the right thing by refusing it? I don't know, but you didn't have another seizure. And he said, as long as you feel that you're okay, you can go home. So I came home. So the seizure sucked. I don't know anybody who has seizures that likes them or says, oh, they're so great. No, they all suck. Seizures suck. Period. End of story. But I'm very blessed that I didn't have another one. I'm very blessed, knock on wood, that I haven't had another one. And I've just been praying and praying and praying that I don't have another one. After the seizure, I just remember sitting in the hospital, and it felt like a door opened. It felt like I left behind this first 2 weeks of benzo withdrawal, and I just literally walked into a new room, a new door of a sense of relief and a sense of almost peace that I can have a seizure without being on Ativan, and it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay, because as I'm recovering from this seizure, as I'm preparing to have this seizure, I just try to get in tune with my body and find my place that I go to and relax myself and breathe. That's the most helpful thing I found, is to just tell myself, breathe. Breathe, Marcella. Breathe. And I can count to 10 or I can count to 100. I don't care. I'll count to whatever I feel like stopping where I count. Counting's been a really big thing for me. Counting helps me to stop hyperventilating. So that's been a very big help. You just sit there and tell yourself, 1, 2, 3. And you count as slow as you should be taking a deep breath in, and your deep breath goes out, you say your number. And it helps me to slow my breathing, because I'm supposed to be counting slow, so I should be breathing slow. So if I say I needed a breath for every second, I would be counting way too fast. Now, if I say I needed a breath for every 4 seconds, 3, 4 seconds, then I'd be doing good. So counting has helped a lot. It's helped me calm my heart down, take me out of tachycardia, calm my high blood pressure, help with nausea, help with anxiety, panic. I mean, that's my thing. Counting and breathing and getting in tune with my body and my organs has helped tremendously. But it felt like this door just opened and I walked into a new reality of, you're doing this. Not only are you doing this, but you're succeeding at it. Not only are you doing something that people say, that doctors say, you can't do that, it's not recommended for people like you have to be on this medication, or you have to, use this other medication or medical marijuana, or, whatever. It's working. I'm succeeding. I put my mind to it, and I'm doing it. And I'm not going to give up anytime soon. Probably never give up.